Hello everybody, my name's Steve, I'm the British Railroader and welcome to my model railroad room for a little announcement. So, as you know, recently I was at the Shoebury Nest Model Railway exhibition and I was helping my friend Keith with his model railway layout CSX Wrensville. Now, whilst I was at the exhibition manager, Trevor, came over to me and basically said, when am I going to build a layout that I can exhibit at the exhibition? I've had a similar request from Ken, who is the manager for the Mid-Essex Model Railway Club's exhibition. And I have been thinking about it for a long time. Now, before COVID happened, I did have a little layout that I took to one exhibition. Literally, I think it was about the week before lockdown. And I really did quite enjoy it. And I have been thinking, actually, should I build something? Because obviously Brooklyn Park isn't portable. And also, following on from last week's video where I said that, you know, sometimes I run out of steam like I have with Brooklyn Park, maybe having an exhibition layout will make me finish something so that I can, you know, if I've got a deadline, I will meet it and I will take it. So I've been having some thoughts. Now, before you get overexcited, there isn't suddenly going to be a layout building series just yet, because these are first thoughts. I don't have the space at home to build an exhibition layout. My train room is 8 foot by 6 foot. You know, Brooklyn Park is nicely sort of shoehorned into one corner of it, with over here, you know, behind the camera, that's my home office. This is where I actually work from. So I need to be able to have a little bit more space. And hopefully in the next year that's going to happen, but it will have to wait a little while. But that doesn't stop me from planning it. Now, as you may have guessed from the title of this video, my first thoughts are actually not to have a New York-based layout. I love New York. I love the New York and Atlantic Railroad, and I think, you know, no matter what, no matter where I am in the world, if I move house tomorrow, my primary layout will always be a New York and Atlantic / Long Island Railroad layout. But I thought, if I'm going to do something for an exhibition, wouldn't it be fun to do something a little bit different? And in my last video, I showed you this. So this is the gen set that I was talking about, that I bought because I wanted a gen set. And it's a Metro Ports one. So Metro Ports, also known as Metropolitan Stevedore, works out of Long Beach port, the port of Long Beach in Los Angeles. They only have a couple of locomotives. This particular loco being a genset, and gensets being, you know, notoriously unreliable. This was mothballed ages ago. But it does have another locomotive that does trip working. Sometimes it, you know, assists Union Pacific or whoever in their trains, you know, that they're shipping out. But I thought, well, it's an LA-based locomotive, and I like it. It's brightly coloured and whatever. So wouldn't it be good to have some kind of layout that I could run that on? But obviously, I don't want to do the LA docks. You know, we're talking about an exhibition layout here. And I have been watching a load of videos on YouTube on a channel called LA Rail Productions. Now, this person does some great videos in and around Los Angeles, especially in that area of the Los Angeles Junction Railway, which Laurence Mathews has done a model of. So what I'm going to do in the description, I'm going to link the channel in there, and I'll also link Laurence Mathews' last video about the LA Junction, because I think it's really worth seeing the kind of thing that I'm hoping to go for. But I thought, well, I've got a loco. It does mean that, you know, I will want more than one loco. But there are other, so BNSF run around there, Union Pacific run around there. Now, these are very different railroads to what I'm used to. I'm an East Coast man. I'm used to CSX, bit of Norfolk Southern, that kind of thing. So BNSF and UP, very, very different. But there's also the other harbour railway, whose name escapes me. I'll put it in the bottom of the screen. And they run trip workings out into central LA. And I thought, wow, this is good, because it probably means that I can use that loco on trip workings as well. Now, it's not going to be a big layout. So the plan is it's going to be about 8 foot long in the scenic section with small fiddle yards, either end, not even fiddle yards, just staging areas at either end of the layout. And to illustrate this, I've got a little video that I made on my computer using SCARM. So let's go and have a look at that. Okay, so we're on the computer now, and I've opened up SCARM. So SCARM is a program. It stands for Simple Computer Aided Railway Modeler, and it's a layout planning tool whereby you can actually build a scale model, as it were, on the computer, so you can work out all of your dimensions, etc. Now, one of the great things about it is that it has a whole database. If you look over this side here, you can click down up the top here, and it's got different scales, and then it's got all of the different tracks, etc. They've got, I've done this strangely enough in Pico HO code 83, but they do Pico HO code 70 as well. But I think that might be the Continental code 70. Let's just have a check. Oh, no, it is now the US code 70. It doesn't matter, because actually the dimensions are the same. I'm using number 6 turnouts, and they're the same size in the code 70 as they are in the code 83. But anyway, you can choose what track you're using, etc. And what I've done is I've just roughed out kind of what I wanted from a track plan, which you can see here, and put in just some blocks and some roadways, etc., just so that I get a rough idea of how it could potentially turn out. And one of the great things with SCARM is there's a little button up here that says 3D, and you can get a 3D rendering of it, which you can then turn around, etc. You can even put locos on here and run them, but I'm not going to do that today. And I think what this does is it kind of really highlights how I want the layout to look. I want it to be full of sort of buildings that are tall but not too tall. Over here, especially, if I just turn this around like this, and then what I wanted up here was to have that kind of canyon of buildings. So when the train comes in from the staging yard over there, it comes between the buildings, and that's your scenic break. And then we've got the road running parallel here, which when you look at a lot of the videos of trains in LA, you get a lot of them where they run parallel with the streets for quite some time. I'm just going to zoom out of that a little bit, and then I'm just going to turn the layout around. And then this end here, there's nothing here at the moment, but what I want to do is put a highway overpass going over the top. I might, if I can get hold of one, get one of the Rick's Products ones. If not, then I will look at Boomer's channel and start thinking about scratch building. But basically what we've got here is we've got a main line or a branch line or whatever. So this is your main running line, which will go off at either end. And then we have a siding here with this industry, which will have 3, maybe 4 spots, just depending on length. So we can spot different cars. And then this siding over here can be used for off spots. But it can also be used for, I might turn it into a team track so that you can then have cars and whatever sort of coming up and picking stuff up off of wagons. But yes, SCARM is a really interesting tool. There are other model railway planning tools out there. go and have a little look. I'm sure that, you know, some people prefer others to this one. I just kind of settled on this one because I kind of know how to use it now. But I still have problems and still end up looking at other people's YouTube videos. Now, I hope what you've just seen has helped you kind of visualize what I'm going for. It's a very simple 2 turnout layout. Now, there is a little part of me in my brain thinking, is that going to be interesting enough to run for a day, maybe 2 days at an exhibition? I think it could be. It would be, especially if I get other people involved, because then, you know, we can take turns at doing switching. Now, my friend Keith did show me a picture of a layout that he is planning, which you can see, or he's building. This is a module that he's building, and I quite like the track plan on that. So I do have Keith's permission to kind of use that if I really want to. Having the runaround on there and the extra sidings might make things just that little bit more interesting. But actually, I want to show that a 2 turnout layout can be really interesting. And I think this is an opportunity to do that, because 2 turnout layouts aren't something that is as common over here as in America. Now, as I said on the piece that I did on the computer, I'm using this. This is Pico code 70 streamline track, the American stuff, number 6 turnouts. I'm not going mad with the turnouts. At the moment, in the code 70, Pico only do the number 6 turnouts. I know that they are planning the full range like they've done with the code 83, but actually number 6 turnouts are just fine for my size layouts. I'm not going to worry about ultra streamlined turnouts, you know, the sort of 8s or 10s or something silly like that. But basically, I've got most of the track. I've got, you know, 6 or 7 lengths of the flex track. I've got one of each direction of turnout. And most importantly, I have got the correct trees. Yes, there are going to be palm trees. These are cheap plastic ones I picked up in Laurence Mathews, my local art shop here in Southend-on-Sea. I will put a little link in the description to them as well. Lovely little place if you're looking for paints and little modelling bits and whatever. It's a wonderful little treasure trove. I had to do some research on palm trees because there are different types of palm tree. I just thought a palm tree was a palm tree. But there are slightly different types. And what I'm going to try and do is find ways to improve my palm trees. So it might be that I do a little video about that way before I even start building the layout. I'm also thinking about scratch building a lot of the buildings. Now, a lot of the buildings where you see in the videos are kind of big concrete blocks, just with doors in them. And I was thinking, actually, maybe this is the opportunity for me to start doing some scratch building rather than relying on things like Walther's kits, which is basically what I've done in Brooklyn Park. Nothing wrong with Walther's kits. They are fantastic kits. But actually, I think it's maybe time for me to do something just a little bit different. Okay, so as I said, this is the planning stages. I'm gathering a few bits and pieces together. I'm still working out ideas. If anybody's got any suggestions for things that they think, oh, you're definitely going to need this on that layout, then obviously, you know, drop me a message. It will be very, very appreciated. But that's it for this video. I will update you on the exhibition layout when there is something to update. As I said, there is not going to be a big series of programs about me building this layout. But when I do get to building it, I will start making videos about what I'm doing. And if there are any techniques that I use that I want to share, then I will share them with you. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, then consider subscribing to the channel. Every subscriber helps put me up there with YouTube's algorithm. And so, you know, if you like the channel, then subscribe. And when you do subscribe, a little bell will come up, click it, press all, and you'll be notified of all my videos as they come out. If you have any suggestions, comments, questions, etc., you can, of course, post them below, or you can email me on the email address that is at the bottom of the screen now. I'm also available on all of these social media sites. As I always say, I'm very active on Facebook, a bit less so on Instagram and Blue Sky. I may actually be dropping that one soon. We'll see. But you can go on to any of those and you can contact me through there if you want to. Now, YouTube, in its ever infinite wisdom, is going to suggest a video for you just over here. If you haven't seen it already, go and take a look. But if you have, nip over to the channel, run through the videos that are in there, and I'm pretty sure you'll find something that you'll enjoy. But that's it. Thanks for watching. My name's Steve. I'm the British Railroader, and I'm saying goodbye from my model railroad room. Bye-bye.